Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We're going to have a look at the German packs which are on sale, but before we do that I just want to talk about the starter pack or the beginners pack which is on sale. Has access to the SDKFC 141 and also the Ju-87R2 Libya. The R2 is just a copy of the R2 here. Has a big bomb and can be quite fun in ground and also naval. And the SDKFC 141 is probably one of the funnest starter vehicles because you have this 20mm autocannon with HVAP and it's incredibly powerful. As I said previously in other videos, the beginners packs or the starter packs are easily the best thing to pick up just because of how much value you get out of them. And this one is $3.25 Canadian. Definitely worth picking up, even just for this machine. And you get 7 days of premium account with it, which obviously pays for itself. But it's just a fantastic little vehicle, super fun, and really highly recommended. The first pack we're going to be having a look at is the Focke-Wulf 190 D13. Now, the Dora goes on sale pretty much every sale. It's one of the oldest premiums in the game, and of course it's a 190D series, which means it's a bit elongated and also has access to the UMO 213E1, which has a ton of power behind it. The D13 also has a really nice armament. It has three 20mm, which work fantastically well, and this used to be just one of the predators of this area of air. Not really too much anymore, mainly because there's a lot of other stuff like super props which are added, the Griffin Spitz, P51H, you know, things like that, which kind of just took over the area, which led to this thing going down in BR, surprisingly. They did actually improve it last year, where they changed the way that its elevator works, which is one of its biggest issues. Its elevator locking up and just not being very powerful. But if you can use this in a, climb and then hammer people from below and then go back up again, it can be super, super fun to play. It also does technically have secondary weapons, and you can see the secondary weapons. The editing is available if you want to, so you can use it in ground, but I would say its main place where it's really powerful is air. In air it works really well, and at this BR you obviously have the Ju-288s which fly around, so you can use them as kind of bait for people, and then you just go on top of them and annihilate them with the D13. It's one of those which has gone through the ringer, but I feel like at the moment is in a really nice The TURM 3 is a fantastic vehicle. One of the interesting things that happened is when it was released, I was really surprised that I didn't see more of these things, and I didn't see them taking over games. But after the first sale where they were available, there was a ton of them, and they were really powerful, and still are, which is why, you will see a bunch of them around. This vehicle has access to a autoloader for its 105, which basically means it can out-reload anything that it faces, apart from stuff like the SK-105 and the Lorraine, and it has this massive ammo rack. But remember, if you take like only 15 shells, or if you take only 20, it only actually fills this area here, instead of this outer area. The other thing is it has a really good turret rotation speed. It doesn't really have great survivability, but because of the mobility of this thing, and, the fact that you're supposed to be flying around at crazy, crazy knots, it basically means that what you're supposed to be doing, or what, you end up doing in this thing right here, is you're supposed to be going super fast around the place. I'm just going to change it to realistic, just kind of show you what the actual values are. But you can see in arcade it's kind of nuts, and in realistic it still is very good as well. When it comes to how the turret works, how the mobility works on the machine, it's still incredibly fast and able to get to positions really quick, which gives it a huge advantage. The gun is also fully stabilized, so on the move it's very, very good. And then it has this 30mm. Now the 30mm isn't the best. It does have SAP and then HE, so it can pen up to 50, so live vehicles can just get torched by the 30. And then also the gun, it has APDS and heat FS, so it doesn't have the better rounds, but because of that reload you can just annihilate things as you go. This vehicle is super powerful at its BR. The only thing that can ever crucify it is if it gets into an area where it can't or isn't able to do really well because it goes up against stuff which kind of neuters the gun. But that's really only in a full up tier, and then it only depends on, you know, what nations you're actually facing. It's very powerful, super fun, and definitely worth it. The A1A1 L44 is one of those vehicles which has been really good for the longest time, and from this sale, they're not selling the 2A4, so with the L44 being the only option for a high tier sale thing, I think it's definitely worth it if you haven't got it. It's basically just a standard Leopard, but it has access to a 120mm. They gave it access to the DM13, which pens more now than the M735, which is and pens a lot more than the M735, I should say. Has the laser rangefinder, has Gen 1 gunner thermals, and also, because of this last year, it has an insane lineup around it, which shouldn't be, you know, looked down upon. It has the Beglett Panzer, which is under BR'd. It has the KPZ-70 and the M48 Super, which when spaded are both insane. You have the T-72M1 you can run it with as well. And then also, if you want to up-tier it, you can get some pretty decent AAs and even a very good light tank and the 2K with it too, which is just kind of nuts. The vehicle is very good, and I'm guessing the reason why they're not selling the 2A4 and other vehicles like that is because they're going to bring in rank 8 and they don't want to sell them too quick. But basically, this gun and this breach is very powerful. It also gets the standard 105mm reload, even though it's a very cramped turret and it's a 120mm, which helps it out a ton. Meaning that this guy right here on this side is just really powerful. And still, his hand, after so many years, is still stuck in the breach, by the way. Which I always found really interesting. The first stage is right here, meaning that it's quite easy to destroy the vehicle, but because this thing has a stabilizer, good gun depression, good mobility, and good reload, what you're looking for is to be able to get the first shot off every time. It's not a vehicle which is designed to be able to tank a shot. It's a vehicle which is designed to shoot first and then reposition with the smokes that it gets access to and then move to a different area. It works very well in that regard, but for a lot of other people it's going to struggle because, you know, they're not going to see targets first. So you just got to train yourself when it comes to the thermals and the bino view, and you'll do insanely well with this thing, especially with the lineup that's around it. That's all the vehicles that are on offer for Germany, a decent amount, and also at the same time, none of them are bad pickups, especially when it comes to the starter pack. It's just a case of, are there better pickups that'll be around in the future, and what are they planning to do with certain tech trees? As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.